Okay, welcome, welcome. Before we get started, we are going to be using a strap in class today, a yoga strap. It looks something like this. If you don't have this, then a pair of stretchy yoga pants or a large towel or something that you'd be able to grab onto both sides overhead would be helpful. So going ahead and getting that now if you don't have it, and we'll go ahead and get started. So moving all of your props out to the sides, we're going to start today on our bellies. So we're going to move towards a pose called crocodile pose. So you can start off with your elbows underneath your shoulders and lengthening your feet behind you. And this pose is a relaxation pose similar to Shavasana, corpse pose, and some other relaxation poses that are out there. So this is really great for relieving tension in the lower back, for lengthening the front of the hips. So finding a width between your feet that feels supportive for you and comfortable. So that might be your feet are hip width distance apart, maybe they're as wide as the mat or somewhere else. So finding a place for the lower body to settle. And from there, we're going to start to walk our elbows forward a couple of inches so that our diaphragm and our the space between the lower abdomen and the rib cage is slightly elevated so that you can breathe deeply into this place. And you might end up staying here with your hands underneath your chin, like so. And this would be the starting point. This is one option, one variation, allowing the shoulders to soften down and back. And when you get here, notice if you're feeling strain in your lower back or your neck. If so, you might decide to make your elbows a little bit wider apart or maybe closer together, maybe closer to the front of the mat or closer to the body. So moving the elbows around until you find a place that the back of the neck and the lower back settle, where the shoulders soften. And this may not feel comfortable in your body. So if that's the case, you might take your elbows a little bit wider and cross your arms and let your forehead rest on your forearms. Lots of options here. So taking a moment now to settle in and see which one of these options feels most supportive in your body. And as you settle in, let the face release, the space behind the eyes and between the eyes. And notice if it feels better for your eyes to be open or closed. If you could be 5% more comfortable, invite in any adjustments that would offer more ease and release to the body, to the mind. And finding a place to settle in as you begin your practice today. Allowing yourself to be fully supported by the surface underneath. And taking a moment to notice all the sounds that are swirling around the room. Notice if you have a preference for them to be here or not be here. And allowing everything to be just as it is. Allowing yourself to be just as you are in this moment. Bringing your attention to your breath, start to breathe in a way that feels really good in the body, whatever that is this morning. Noticing the sensation of the breath as you draw it in and out. Noticing how the breath moves in the body. What parts of the body move as the breath flows in and flows out. Not trying to force anything or change anything. Just getting curious how the breath moves the body as the body breathes itself. Notice if any other qualities of the breath start to arise, maybe the temperature of the breath, the texture, the taste, the sound. All these different aspects of the breath. The body breathes itself, not having to change anything. Allowing yourself to be just as you are. Letting your attention start to wander through the body. Notice what parts of the body are feeling tight and tense. Where your body's holding on to some stress from your week. Not trying to change it, just getting curious. What parts of the body would like some more attention and care in your practice today? Allowing attention to wander through again. This time noticing what parts of the body are feeling resilient and strong and spacious, energized. Everything just as it is. And in the next moment, notice the tension and the ease at the same time. Parts of the body that are feeling a little more constricted and parts of the body that are feeling spacious. Light and heavy, warm and cool. Holding both of these opposites at the same time. All of this part of your experience. Notice what effect this has on the body and the mind when you hold opposites at the same time. Starting to draw the inhale into the belly, into the diaphragm. So the part of the torso right below the rib cage. Take a big inhale here. And on your exhale, soften wherever possible. Inhale into the abdomen. And exhale, allowing yourself to be supported by the earth underneath. Maybe 4 or 5 seconds on the inhale, letting the belly, the lower back expand and spread. And softening on the exhale. One more round of breath. Let this feel so good in the body, whatever that is for you. As you exhale, slowly open the eyes. Lift the head. From here, we're going to roll our neck around a little bit. Whatever feels good. You might bring your chin towards one shoulder and the other, and maybe roll it around in circles. Whatever movement feels good on the neck after resting in crocodile pose. And you might move your right shoulder towards the front of the mat and look over your left shoulder. And then to the other side, looking over the right shoulder and left shoulder moves towards the front of the mat. And coming back to center, we're going to take our left arm underneath our right arm. So the palm's going to be facing up towards the sky like this, and our right arm's going forward towards the front of the room. So you can decide how far you want that right arm to go. And the further forward it is, the more pressure you're going to feel across your left arm. So your left arm is in line with your left shoulder, and the palm's facing up. And we're looking at finding some sensation in the left shoulder here, on the outside of the left shoulder. So if the hand goes really far forward, you might let your head release down in the back of the neck. Or maybe you put some weight into that right arm to take some of the pressure off of the left arm, deciding what feels right in your body this morning. And coming back to the breath here, breathing into the left shoulder, breathing into the neck and the lower back. We're not forcing anything here, so finding a posture that feels supportive for you. All of our bodies are going to be different, so we never want any pain. And if this doesn't feel supportive to you at all, taking another posture that feels right in your body right now. From here, we're going to start to take our right hand and bring it up overhead. And as we do this, we're going to roll onto our left side and open up into a twist. So our right knee is going to bend and our right arm is going to extend out next to us. We're not going too far into the twist. We're just taking a moment here to breathe into all the parts of the body that are feeling a little tight and tender. Working on a 3-second inhale, the 3-second exhale. 4-second inhale, slow, steady. And 4-second exhale. 5-second inhale. 5-second exhale. We're going to move back and forth a few times between these two postures. So the right hand is going to come back overhead and you're going to roll onto your belly, slow and steady. Maybe a breath or two here into that left shoulder and start to roll open again into your twist. So a few more times back and forth. You decide how long you spend in each place. And working on smoothing this transition out, whatever feels right in your body this morning. We're warming up the body, opening up the shoulders, getting a gentle twist in the spine and the hips. And it may feel a little awkward as you move forward and backward. So listening to your body and what would make this feel a little more smooth. You're in control here. The next time you roll onto your belly, we're going to press into the right elbow and lift ourselves back up. Coming back into a neutral spine, letting the shoulders square off to the front of the mat. And again, we're going to look over our left shoulder and our right shoulder is going to move forward towards the front of the mat. And coming back to center, left shoulder forward, looking over the right shoulder. Back to center. We're going to move to the other side. So this time your right hand's going to thread underneath your left arm. Right palm is facing up towards the sky. And working on your shoulders staying squared to the front of the mat, we're going to start to lengthen the left hand forward and maybe the right elbow starts to move over towards the left a little bit more. Getting curious what this shoulder feels like compared to the other shoulder. So you have different mobility in each shoulder. And just noticing what adjustments you might offer here to bring more release on this side. You can keep your head gently lifted, back of the neck long, or maybe let your head hang down towards the ground. I'm taking several rounds of breath here. Noticing where you're feeling the most tension in the shoulder and letting your inhale come into that place of tension, bringing some energy, some breath, the vital life force, offering support where your body might be clenching and holding on to some stress from your week. We carry a lot of stress and tension in our shoulders, so very normal to feel some discomfort here. We never want to feel pain. So if anything feels painful, looking at finding another adjustment to offer more steadiness in the body. The end of your next exhale, we're going to slowly start to open into that twist on this side. So we'll roll over towards the right side of the body. The left hand's going to sweep up overhead. Left arm extends out to the side, and your left knee bends at a 90-degree angle, finding your way into a supine twist. So as you find your way here, a couple of breaths, breathing into the twist. Noticing how this side feels different. Noticing how you might adjust this posture so that you feel more steadiness in the body. Breathing into all the places that are feeling tight and tense and supporting your body in whatever way feels right. We'll slowly move back and forth between these two postures several times. So sweeping the left hand up overhead, rolling back onto the front side of the body, maybe a breath or so here, breathing into the right shoulder. And at your own pace, your own time, moving back and forth. Mobility on this side of the body is going to be different. So finding a way to smooth this out and make this feel steady and supportive in the body. Whatever adjustments you'd like to bring a little more ease and well-being, moving back and forth between these two. Next time you roll onto the front side of the body, taking a breath here into the front of that shoulder, and slowly finding your way back up into Sphinx pose. One more time, elbows underneath the shoulders, squaring off the shoulders to the front of the mat. We're going to look over our left shoulder, right shoulder moves towards the front of the mat. And coming back through center to the other side, looking over the right shoulder, and your left shoulder is reaching towards the front of the mat. Coming back to center, we're going to let our torso rest down and bring your hands underneath your shoulders, a little bit closer to the mid part of your rib cage. And squeeze your elbows towards each other. So your head can rest on the ground, or maybe it's lifted so that you're lengthening through the back of the neck. And we're drawing our shoulder blades together on the upper back, and the shoulders are pulling down towards the hips, finding some length between the shoulders and the neck. Start to press into the tops of the feet enough so that the knees start to lift up and the backs of the knees lift up towards the sky. We're going to press into the hips and press into the tops of the feet and lengthen the chest forward towards the front of the room. Coming into a low cobra, squeeze the elbows together and then let the hands hover up off the ground. So we're squeezing the elbows together, drawing the shoulder blades together and down, lengthening through the top of the head, starting to create some heat and energy in the body. Let the hands release down, let the head release down, take a couple of breaths here. Noticing the release after the effort and how the sensation changes in the body. Next inhale, we'll move up to that again. So press into the tops of the feet, press into the hips. Draw the shoulder blades together and down, elbows together. And this time, press into the hands and then draw your palms back towards your hips. Broadening across the front of the chest, gazes down at the mat, and you're lengthening through the top of the head. Slow, steady with the breath. These postures increase your respiratory rate. So this is a place where we can work on keeping the breath steady even when it's elevated. And exhale, slowly lower down and completely release. A few rounds of breath here, let the ground support you, noticing the heat and energy that's starting to build in the body and supporting yourself with your breath as you move through. One more time, press into the tops of the feet, press into the hips, elbows draw together on the back, lengthen the chest forward. Hands are pressing down and pulling back towards your feet. Collarbone is gently reaching towards the front of the mat. And exhale, lower down. Pressing into the hands, we're going to press back into child's pose. Toes come together. Notice if it feels better for your knees to be apart or together. And notice if it feels better for your hips to rest back towards your heels, or maybe they stay a little bit higher, taking some of the pressure off of the shins and the tops of the ankles. Allowing the torso and the head to rest down towards the ground. Allow the elbows to release onto the ground and the forearms. The palms and the fingers soften. And take several rounds of breath here into the lower back, into the hips. Noticing sensation on the back side of the body. Slow, steady with the breath. And we're going to press back into our hips and slowly, one vertebra at a time, roll up into a seat. Arms are going to sweep around behind us, broaden across the chest. Lift the collarbone up towards the sky. Gaze comes up to the fingertips as they arrive at top on the inhale. Exhale, open up cactus arms. Spread the fingers wide, elbows come to 90 degrees. Lift the collarbone and draw the elbows back towards each other on the upper back. Inhale, lengthen, and bring your hands down to heart center. and back down to the ground, finding your way into child's pose. Slowly shifting forward into a plank with your knees down. Spread the fingers wide and widen your knees about hip width distance apart. So your shoulders are over your wrists and your hips are in line with your knees and your head. So they're not too far back here like we do in tabletop, and they're not sagging down towards the ground. We want the core to be engaged here. So we're bringing the front of the hips towards the front of the rib cage. Draw the navel back towards the spine and pressing into the ground with the hands. This is an active posture, keeping the back and the hips engaged. We're going to start to reach our right shoulder and our right rib cage over to the right. The hips move towards the right. And we're building these big circles. So the hips move back over the heels and leaning into the left side of the body. A few more circles in this direction. So notice how you might smooth this out. What adjustments might you bring into the elbows? Maybe your knees want to be a little bit wider, a little bit closer together. And noticing how you might smooth this out so that it allows the shoulders and the hips to continue to warm up and move in a way that feels good in your body. When you come to the front again, we're going to reverse the direction of the circle. There's no rush to get there in your own time. Stopping anywhere along the way that is feeling good in your body. Smooth, steady, with the breath. One more circle in this direction. And the next time you come forward, we're going to lower all the way down onto our bellies. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders again in Sphinx pose. We're going to bring some energy and heat into the front of the body, working on the deep core here, activating the deep core. So you have the option here to keep your hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread wide, or you might interlace your hands together. Notice which one of those feels more supportive. And we're going to start to draw the navel back towards the spine. Notice when you do that, there might be a slight lift in the front of the body. We want to bring the front of the hips towards the lower rib cage and see if there's some heat and activation there. And we're going to put both of those together. So front of the hips towards the rib cage, belly button back towards the spine. And we're going to lift up into a plank with our elbows and our knees down. And this is definitely supposed to make you shake here. So if you're shaking, you're right on track where we're supposed to be. Pulling the belly button back towards the spine, up into the rib cage, bringing some heat and energy into that deep core. Maybe you lift your feet up off the ground and balance on the knees. Press the elbows down towards the ground, pull them back towards the knees and the knees towards the elbows. And notice how your breath is changing here. So we are activating our stress response on purpose. See if there's a way that you can smooth the breath out and practice finding some steadiness even when the body is going through an activated situation. 3 more rounds of breath here. You've got this. Slow, steady, smooth. And at the end of your 3rd round, let everything release down, coming back into Sphinx pose. Let the shoulders soften down towards the hips. Shoulder blades gently drawing together and breathing into the front of the abdomen. A few rounds of breath here. Now breathing in a way that allows you to regulate the breath. Bring a little bit of calm to the body, maybe gently extending the exhale, a second or 2 longer than the inhale. And from here, we're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders and find our way into a tabletop posture. So knees are under hips, wrists are underneath your shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. And we're going to do some movement in our scapula, our shoulder blades. So I want you to draw the shoulder blades together on the upper back. And you'll notice when you do so, the chest gently lengthens towards the ground. So we're spreading across the collarbone, drawing shoulder blades together towards each other. No bend in the elbow, maybe a micro bend, but we're not bending our elbows here for the movement. We're just moving in the shoulders. On your next exhale, press the earth away and draw the shoulder blades away from each other. Trying not to hyperextend the elbows here. So keeping that micro bend in the elbows and pulling the shoulder blades away from each other, finding as much space as you can there. We're going to move back and forth a few times, drawing the shoulders together and spreading them apart. Maybe matching breath and movement, looking at if there's any tension building in the neck, if you can release tension there in the jaw, behind the ears, between the eyes. And after your next exhale, coming back to a neutral position. From here, we're going to take our right leg and move it out to the side. So as it comes out to the side, pressing the outer edge of the foot down into the ground and your heels in line with your hip, a gentle stretch in the inside of the thigh here. If this doesn't feel good or supportive, you're more than welcome to keep your knee back where it was underneath your hip. So this is just an option if you're interested in getting a little bit more of a stretch here. And start to move the hips back towards the heel a little bit and forward, breathing into any places of tension that you might feel. So a few times back and forth, smooth and steady. And the next time you come forward, staying here, we're going to shift our weight into our left hand. You have an option here. If you have a block or a prop, if you want to come onto your forearms, either on the block, or you could even come onto your forearm on the ground. See if that adjustment is something that feels good in the body. It is an option, nothing required here. So finding a place for that left arm to rest, either on the wrist or on the forearm. We're going to open twist to the right. Right hand coming up towards the sky. Gaze comes up to the fingertips if that feels okay on the neck. Lengthening the spine here and drawing our left rib cage under and our right rib cage over. A couple of rounds of breath here, noticing how sensation has shifted in the body and seeing if you can bring your inhales into the places that are feeling tight and tense. Noticing heat and energy building in the body here. We're going to move back and forth, threading the needle and opening again. So inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, reach underneath with that right hand like you're reaching for something towards the left side of the room, drawing the right shoulder blade away from the left. Next, inhale, lengthen and open. Exhale, twisting underneath, reaching. Several more times, I'm going to turn this over to you. You decide the pace that you go, how long you want to stay in between the two postures. There's absolutely no rush. If your body's craving faster movement, you're welcome to move faster. And noticing how engaging the muscles in the arms and the shoulders and the abdomen can help to increase intensity here. That's something your body's craving. Next, inhale, open wide, lengthen as if someone's lifting that top hand up towards the sky. Exhale, hand comes down, and we're going to come back into our tabletop posture. And we'll move over to the other side. So our left foot is now going to extend out towards the left. If you're interested in that variation, it's not necessary. If the left foot does extend out, press into the outer edge of the foot so that it's reaching down towards the ground, staying active in the leg. We'll start to move forward and backwards a little bit with our hips, noticing if there's anything there that feels good in the body, lingering anywhere along the way that feels good or would like a little more attention, breath. The next inhale, coming back so that shoulders are stacked over wrists again. And we're going to lengthen the spine towards the front of the mat, broadening across the collarbone. Draw the navel back towards the spine and let your left hand reach up for an open twist towards the left. So every inhale, the spine's going to lengthen, and on your exhale, the right rib cage gently draws down towards the ground. And the left rib cage gently draws back behind you. Gazes up at the fingertips if that feels okay on the neck. Noticing how this side feels different and seeing what adjustments you might bring in to help support you on this side of the body. Remembering that you have the option to come down to your right forearm if your right wrist is feeling tender onto a block. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, we're going to twist underneath, reaching towards the right side of the room, drawing the left shoulder blade away from the right shoulder blade. And turning this over to you as you inhale, opening and lengthening. And as you exhale, reaching and twisting underneath. Staying on either one of these as long as you'd like, something that feels good in the body. And adjusting this any way that would bring more ease and steadiness to the body and the mind. Smooth, slow, and steady with the breath in your own time. And after the next exhale, slowly coming back into your tabletop posture. And we'll sit back into child's pose again, toes together. Notice this time if it feels better for knees to be together or apart. And let the elbows release down towards the ground, the forearms and the hands soften, and the head releases down towards the ground. A few rounds of breath here into the back of the neck, in between the shoulder blades, the back of the rib cage, the lower back and the hips. Noticing the effects of your practice on your body, your mind. From here, we'll find our way into down dog. So reaching the arms forward, pressing into the hands. We're going to tuck our toes, engage the core by drawing the navel back towards the spine, and then lift the hips up towards the sky. Knees stay bent here, coming into our first down dog of class. Spread the fingers wider than you think you need to, and press the mat forward with your hands, allowing the chest to lengthen back towards the knees. Knees stay bent enough so that you can find a lot of length in the side of the torso, the spine. Maybe nod your head yes or no, something that feels good there. And slowly start to explore lengthening your legs in a way that feels supportive. So breathing into the backs of the legs, maybe one heel comes down and then the other. You may explore widening your stance so that your feet are as wide as the mat or maybe a little bit wider. Seeing if that offers more support in your body as you continue to lengthen and warm the backs of the legs. And from here, we're going to look forward and step our right foot on the outside of our right hand. So if it doesn't make it there the first time, you can let your right hand come and help it towards the front of the mat. We're going to take a couple of breaths here, reaching through that left heel. You're always welcome to let your left knee come down to the ground at any point that would feel supportive for you. Drawing your right hip back and your left hip forward, lengthening the spine towards the front of the mat. And from here, we're going to open up into a twist. So your left hand can stay on the ground. If you have a block, you're welcome to bring the block underneath the left hand, twisting up towards the sky with the right hand. Gaze comes up to the fingertips if it feels okay on the neck or anywhere that the neck feels supported. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. And that left rib cage gently draws down towards the ground. Right rib cage back behind you. Right hand comes down. We're going to step our right foot back and press back into down dog. Your stance can be wide or closer together. Continuing to bring any movement into the hips or the legs that feel supportive here. Steady, smooth. And then we're going to look forward, engage the core, and our left foot's going to find its way on the outside of the left hand. So if it doesn't make it all the way there, your left hand can come and help it find its way forward. Pressing into your right heel, left heel drawing back, right hip drawing forward. Finding some activation in that left leg, lengthening the spine on the inhale. Maybe your right hand finds its way to a block or stays on the ground, opening for a twist to the other side. Pressing through the right heel, drawing the left hip back, lengthening the spine on the inhale and twisting on the exhale. Left hand comes down, engaging the core, and we're going to bring our right foot on the outside of the right hand, finding our way into a squat. So engage the core and then bring the right foot forward and sitting back into your squat at the front of the mat. Pressing into the outer edges of the feet by engaging the glutes and drawing the knees away from each other. You're very flexible in your hips. Try to avoid dumping down and resting at the bottom of the squat. You want to lift your hips up to keep them activated. If your hips are really tight and you're finding your knees are caving in together, you might lift them up a little bit higher so that you can draw the knees apart. Hands come together at the chest and press your elbows on the insides of the knees. Draw the shoulder blades together. Lift the roof of the mouth up towards the sky. And notice if any movement would feel supportive here, maybe shifting the hips from side to side. All of this is optional. And very slowly, we're going to rise up to standing. Bringing your feet hip width distance apart underneath the hips. Shoulders soften down the back. Spread the fingers wide. And let the palms and the insides of the elbows face forward towards the front of the mat. Broaden across the chest. Lift the roof of the mouth up towards the sky. And you have the option to close your eyes or let your gaze blur and soften on the floor in front of you. Several rounds of breath here in mountain pose. Strong, steady, grounded, and supported by the earth underneath. Imagining roots coming out of the bottom of the feet and grounding down into the earth. As you inhale, inhaling in through the roots, up through the legs, the torso to the top of the head. And exhale, the breath slowly releases down through the body, back into the earth. Inhale from the earth, up through the crown of the head. Exhale, slowly releasing the breath back towards the earth. One more round of breath like this. Let it feel so good, so nourishing. Remembering the strength, resilience, and vitality in your body as it is. Next, inhale, blink the eyes open. Arms are going to sweep up and around towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale, right hand behind, left hand forward. Inhale, rise. Exhale, twisting to the other side, left hand behind, right hand forward. Inhale, arms overhead, coming up to the toes of the right foot, open twist to the right. Draw the right hip forward while the right hand moves back. Inhale, back to center, twisting to the other side. Draw the navel back towards the spine, and the left hip draws forward as the left shoulder and arm reach towards the back. Inhale, back to center. Option to stay on the toes of the right foot, or maybe you play around with balance. Micro bend in the left knee. Lengthen the spine, draw the navel back towards the spine, open twist towards the right. Your gaze back towards your fingers will offer more challenge. Your gaze forward, more steadiness. One more round of breath here, lengthening the spine and twisting a little deeper. Inhale, back to center, and we'll move to the other side. Micro bend in the right knee, coming up to the left toes or lifting the left foot. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. Engage the core and let the core open you up towards the left here. Gaze can be back behind you or forward or anywhere in between. Supporting yourself here, finding that steadiness, even in challenge. Inhale, coming back to center, lengthen. Exhale, open up cactus arms, spread the fingers wide. Draw the front of the hips towards the lower rib cage, slightly tucking the tailbone. Inhale, back up to center. Hands come down to heart center in a gesture of gratitude. Slight bend in the knees. Press your feet down into the mat and pull the mat apart with your feet. So we're activating all the muscles in the legs and the hips and the backs of the legs. Draw the navel back towards the spine, broaden across the chest, and slowly start to move your hips back behind you. So not bending in the spine at all. Spine stays long as we come down into our half lift. You have the option to keep your hands here, or maybe they come down to your thighs or your shins. Draw the shoulder blades together and back down towards the hips. Navel is back towards the spine and drawing up into the rib cage. Steady, smooth, supported here. And releasing all the way down, round the back, knees stay bent. Hands are going to come down to the ground. Step your right foot back behind you, coming into a lunge, and right knee comes down to the ground. This is where we're going to grab that yoga strap or your stretchy yoga pants or towel or whatever you might have. You want to open it up. And from here, slowly find your way up into a lunge with your right knee down. So draw the navel back towards the spine and draw your right hip forward, left hip's drawing back, so your hips are squared towards the front of the mat. You're going to tuck your tailbone, so the front of the hips moving up towards the lower rib cage, and peek at your left knee, make sure that you can see your big toe. If your knee's caving in, engage the left glute so that the knee draws out towards your pinky toe and your knees stacked over your left ankle. Grabbing onto whatever prop you might have. And if you don't have a prop, you're welcome to do this without it. Also, if your knee's feeling tender, you could put a blanket or a towel underneath your knee or roll your mat up over to the side. So we're going to start moving back and forth with whatever prop you have to support you with this. And as you're doing this and opening up the shoulders, you want to make sure that your arms can stay fairly straight. So if they're bending, then you want to grab wider on whatever you have. If you're hypermobile or extremely flexible here, then you want to make sure that you have a micro bend in your elbow so that and you stay engaged in your forearms, your biceps, your triceps. Allowing the shoulders to lengthen down towards the hips, keeping the space between the shoulders and the neck long. And notice if there's any other movement here that would feel good, maybe at a different angle or moving around in circles or something else that feels good on the shoulders and the neck. Smooth and steady here. We're going to release this strap down towards the ground. Inhale, biceps next to ears. Exhale, open twist towards the left. Spread the fingers wide. Gaze comes over the left shoulder. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. Option to stay here or reverse. Right hand lifts up towards the ceiling. Left hand comes back for balance. Lengthening from your left knee all the way up, or your right knee up through the right fingertips. Your left hip still drawing back, right hip drawing forward. 5 seconds on the inhale. Exhale, right hand on the inside of the left foot. Open twist, option to keep that right knee down or lift it. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. And exhale, left hand comes down. Stepping back into your down dog. Spread the fingers wide. And take a few rounds of breath here. Noticing how the breath has changed, and see if you would like to slow it down, maybe by lengthening your exhale a little bit longer. If you want to keep it charged with energy, maybe bringing in victorious breath, constricting at the back of the throat, and finding a strong, smooth, steady breath in and out of the body. Looking forward, we're going to bring our right foot up between our hands. If it doesn't make it there on the first round, you can let your right hand help it find its way forward. And our left knee is going to come down to the ground. Finding your strap again and slowly finding your way up into a lunge on the other side. Noticing how this side feels different. Mobility in our hips are going to be different here. So you want to have your strap or your prop nearby. Your right hip is drawing back, left hip drawing forward. Tuck the tailbone so that the lower back is lengthening, front of the hips gently reaching towards the lower rib cage. Draw the navel back towards the spine, up into the rib cage. Finding whatever support you'd like underneath your left knee and grabbing onto whatever prop you have into one hand, your left or your right, it doesn't matter. Peek down at your right knee, make sure it's stacked over the ankle. You can see your big toe. Your prop is going to be in one hand. Bringing your biceps next to your ears, we're going to open up into cactus arms. Spreading the fingers wide. And then you have the option here to stay here or maybe deepen this stretch a bit more. So the first thing we're going to do is lengthen the spine and broaden across the collarbone. Gently drawing the elbows towards each other and drawing the shoulder blades together and down on the back. Lifting the chest up towards the sky. The next option would be to straighten the arms, keeping all of that length across the front of the chest that you found. Palms are facing towards each other now. And you might stay here, or maybe bending the elbows enough so that you can grab that prop and re-straightening the arms. If you're hypermobile, make sure you keep that micro bend in the elbows. And using the strap to gently draw, create some tension. So you might be pulling the strap or the prop away from each other to offer a little bit more opening in the front of the shoulders. You can keep your elbows bent here. If you don't have a strap, you can grab onto opposite elbows here, finding some length there. Or you might bend your elbows so that your palms face each other as you interlace your hands. Palms pressing together, elbows reaching back towards each other, lengthening across the front of the chest. The next step from there, or another variation, I won't say next step, another variation would be to lengthen the arms as long as the palms continue to press towards each other. Lots of options here. None of this is better than. Finding whatever works best for you in your body today. Soften the face. Notice how the breath is changing. Finding some steadiness there. One more inhale here. And exhale, release the hands, biceps next to the ears. Lengthen the spine on the inhale. Exhale, open twist to the other side. Spreading the fingers wide, lengthening the spine. Right rib cage reaching towards the back of the mat, left rib cage towards the front. Option to stay here or reverse. Left hand now lengthening towards the ceiling. We're still reaching the left hip forward and the right hip back, gently tucking the tailbone underneath, lengthening through the left side of the body. Inhale here. Exhale, left hand on the inside of the right foot, open twist to the right. Option to keep that right knee down or tuck the toes and lift the knee up. Steady, smooth with the breath. The right hand comes down, stepping back into your plank, and finding your way into the last down dog of class. Welcoming in any movement or adjustments here that feel good in the body, the backs of the legs, the hips, the spine. Noticing how this posture has changed from when you first came here. The effects of your practice on your body, on your breath. And from here, finding your way to your knees and onto your seat. Your legs in front of you. So drawing letting your sits bones rest on the ground, and you might take the flesh and move it out to the side a little bit so you're feeling more even on the earth. Reaching your legs in front of you, keeping a micro bend in your knee, especially if your hamstrings are tight and it's pulling on your lower back. Flexing the toes wide and drawing the toes back towards the knees, reaching through the heels, lengthening through the spine. Biceps come next to ears. Draw the navel back towards the spine and start to draw the chest towards the toes. Hands come down as you fold forward. So you might let your hands rest on your shins. maybe towards the ankles, maybe towards the feet, depending on how mobile you're feeling in your body today. Bending your knees as deeply as you would like to offer some relief to the lower back. Letting the spine curl down towards the earth, breathing into the back of the neck. Slow, steady. Any adjustments here that would offer more ease and well-being to the body. Smooth, steady. After your next exhale, let the hands find their way back to the ground. And finding your way back into your seat. Soles of the feet on the ground, and we're going to roll down onto our back. So if you'd like some more energy and activation in the core, you might do that without your hands. Otherwise, hands are going to come to the backs of the thighs, lowering back down. We're going to take the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees start to tick-tock left and right. Your arms are going to bend into goalpost arms on the sides of the body, 90-degree angle. Moving in a way that feels good on the hips and the lower back. And the next time the knees drop over to the left, let them stay there. Reach with your right hand up overhead, getting a long stretch through the right side of the body. And coming back through center, knees over towards the right, lengthening through the left side of the body, long stretch over here. Coming back to center. Reaching behind your thighs, drawing the knees back towards the shoulders. And welcome any movement here that feels good in the hips and the lower back. Maybe making circles or figure eights. If you're interested in moving towards full happy baby, you'll reach on the insides of the knees and grab the outsides of the feet. Soles of the feet are going to come up parallel with the ceiling above. You find that you're trying to reach your feet and you're straining with your neck and your shoulders, bring your head and your shoulders back down to the ground and then let your hands reach on your legs wherever that is. So it might be your calves or your shins, or maybe it's coming to the backs of the thighs again. Welcoming in any rocking here that feels good, breathing into the hips, the lower back. Bringing the feet back down towards the ground. We're going to bring our right knee in towards the chest, and open it out towards the right, moving it around in circles, something that feels good here. Option for your left knee to be up towards the ceiling, or maybe it drops down to the left side. Different sensation, different stretch. We'll bring both feet back down on the ground, knees up towards the sky. Left knee draws back, bringing circles in here. Maybe that right knee stays up or it drops down towards the right. Whatever movement feels good in the hips and the lower back. And bringing both knees in towards the chest. Some rocking here, or circles. We're going to bring our arms out to a T and let the knees drop over towards the right. Gaze comes over the left shoulder, the left fingertips. Breathing in a way that feels really good in the body and allowing yourself to be supported by the earth underneath. Noticing where there's any tension and letting it be here, but also notice where your body is feeling ease. Supported, spacious, everything just as it is. Knees come back up through center. We'll move to the other side. Gaze comes over the right, fingertips this time. Several rounds of breath here. Something that feels so good in the body. Any adjustments to offer more ease and well-being. The end of your next round of breath, slowly coming back to center. One more time, welcoming in any movement that will help your practice feel complete today. So several rounds of breath in whatever posture or movement feels right in your body. Whenever you're ready, finding your way into your final resting posture. So you might lengthen the legs and arms into Shavasana, into corpse pose. If you do, maybe bring a blanket or a pillow underneath the knees to help them elevate. You also have the option of coming back into crocodile pose like we started. This time, if you come in a crocodile pose, I recommend the elbows being wider, arms crossing, and letting your head rest on your forearms. This will feel really nice on the lower back. So taking time now to finish up your final movement and settle into your final resting posture for class. Arriving in a place that brings ease to the body, where you feel supported by the earth underneath. Notice if it feels better for your eyes to be open or closed. If it feels better for your hands to rest beside the body or on the body, if you're in Shavasana, or if there are any other adjustments you might bring in whatever posture you're in that will make you feel 5 or 10% more comfortable. Listening to your body and how you might adjust it to bring more ease and well-being to the body and the mind. Noticing the support of the earth underneath as it rises up, and the gentle pressure that you feel in the parts of the body that are making contact with the earth below. Allowing yourself to be supported in whatever way is possible right now. And taking this time to notice the effects of your practice on your body, on your mind, on your heart. Letting your attention wander through the body, noticing sensation. Noticing any discomfort that's here. Is it in the same place as it was when we started? Maybe it's a new place. Not trying to change it or fix it, letting it be exactly as it is. And then noticing what parts of the body are feeling resilient and spacious, strong, supported. If these are the same as when we started, or maybe it's different. Allowing yourself to be just as you are. Allowing everything in the same moment, the tension and the ease. Constriction, spaciousness, just as you are. Noticing sensation in the feet and the ankles, not trying to relax anything or change anything, just getting curious what sensations here. Sensation in the legs, the hips, torso, front and back, shoulders, arms, hands. Both hands, arms, and shoulders at the same time, heavy and supported by the surface below. Sensation in the neck, the head, the skin of the face. Sensation inside the head, behind the eyes, inside the nose, the mouth, the walls of the throat. Sensation around the heart and inside the rib cage, inside the belly, deep inside the hips, inside the legs. The whole body is radiant sensation, inside, surface sensations, beyond. And coming home to your breath. Expanding on the inhale. Releasing on the exhale. Exploring the spaciousness in your body and in the room around you on the inhale. And allowing release and support from the earth below on the exhale. Coming back again to sensation in the body. Starting to deepen your breath in a way that feels really satisfying. Nourishing your body in whatever way feels right in this moment. Bringing attention to the surface of the skin on the body. Welcoming gentle movement at the ends of the limbs when your body wants to start moving again. And noticing if your body would like to stay longer in stillness, offering yourself that gift too. If you are ready to start moving, notice what other movement your body's craving right now. Inviting that movement into your body to reawaken. Maybe gently rocking the head left and right, or taking any good morning stretches that feel good. When you're ready, rolling onto your favorite side, let your knees curl up towards your chest. Maybe your lower arm or a blanket offers a pillow underneath the head. A moment here, eyes can be open or closed. Thanking yourself for showing up on your mat this morning and offering yourself this gift of breath and attention and awareness. When you're ready to rise, pressing into your top hand and finding your way up to a comfortable seat, whatever that is. Maybe some support underneath the hips. Letting the spine grow long and tall. When you're ready, we'll take a big stretch up towards the ceiling, continuing to reawaken the body. Let the hands and fingers rest together and down at the heart in a gesture of gratitude. Your gaze rests on your fingertips, or maybe you close your eyes, a gentle smile on the lips to soften the face. Another moment of gratitude, thanking your body for how resilient and strong and wonderful it is. Everything it does right to support you each and every day. We'll all close together with another satisfying breath, whatever that is. Inhale. Exhale, let it all go. Thank you all for sharing your practice with me today and taking this time. I hope to see you all back again soon. Thank you for your presence, sharing this time with each other and with me.